to my boy Trey OG Reacts, man. Let's get it. Dirty facts about history that school probably did not teach you, man. Once again, man, I hope y'all having an amazing night rocking with me, man. For real, for real. We up late tonight.
Facts about history that they probably didn't even teach you in school. I'm pretty sure they didn't teach you in school, man. Smash that like button, subscribe to my channel. Let's get into this video, man. Good vibes only.
This is Miriam Makeba. She was banned from South Africa for 30 years, once married to a Black Panther member, and she's Africa's first superstar. She was banned from South Africa for speaking up against apartheid, so she chose to settle in the US, where she gained an American audience that propelled her to fame. She would sing in multiple languages, and she was so popular, she was the first African to win a Grammy. After she got married to Black Panther member Stokely Carmichael, she lost favorability with the US government, so they both moved to Guinea in West Africa. She continued to sing and pioneer for civil rights right up until her death, and now she is lovingly remembered by her nickname, Mama Africa. This is Sabari and Gemma. Follow me if you want to learn more about African politics and pop culture.
Hey, do you know this song?
As long as you're an ally, you live in peace.
Of course you do, everyone does, but did you know that that song was actually originally written and recorded by a South African artist? Yup, that wasn't the original version, nor is this one or this one. This is the original, and although it's now arguably one of the most famous tunes in the world, and for over 8 decades and a lot of people a lot of money, its composer Solomon Linda actually died penniless and his family so poor that they couldn't afford a tombstone for his grave. So, let's talk about it. Solomon Linda and his group The Evening Birds released Mbube in 1939. It was actually mostly improvised by Solomon during a recording session, and the song Mbube, or Zulu for the lion, was inspired by the group's childhood experiences when they chased away lions that stalked the family cattle. The song became an instant hit in South Africa, and not long after, Solomon agreed to sell the rights of his song to a South African recording company for 10 shillings, less than $2. I know, that's practically nothing, but remember, this was 1939 in British ruled South Africa, and he was a black man. No one got royalties and copyright was unknown. So, when Solomon got the $2 and a job at his boss's packing plant, he thought he'd come out of the deal okay, but that was just the beginning of a big injustice. Gaio, the guy who Solomon had sold to, sent a copy of the song to Decca Records, and from there, Peter Seeger got a hold of it. Mishearing the original lyrics, he changed the title to Wimowe, recorded it with the Weavers in 1952, and brought it to the top of the charts. The song would go on to be reinterpreted by dozens of American artists without Solomon receiving a dime or credit. In a 2000 Rolling Stone article, South African journalist Ryan Malan wrote about Solomon's story and estimated that his song had earned $50 million for its use in The Lion King alone. And yet, Solomon's family lived in a house with no ceilings. The publicity that the article generated prompted a lawsuit between Solomon's estate and Disney, and in 2004, with the full backing of the South African government, Solomon's descendants sued the Walt Disney Company for its use of his song in The Lion King. In February 2006, Disney settled for an undisclosed sum, but Solomon's estate didn't receive substantial royalties from the song until recently. All in all, this was not a story of theft as much as it was a terrible injustice. Solomon Linda was cheated, but it does bring a smile to my heart knowing that he created one of the most recognizable songs in history.
I'm sure we all have an idea of
Hey, look. But you know what's crazy about that is most of the songs that was popping back then that came from other people was
Hey, you right. Elvis did the same thing.
Stolen by, it was stolen and repurposed, and these people didn't have the money to push and do all these other things, and they just bullied them, took their music, man, made it theirs. But you know how many genres of music we even created?
Facts.
It's crazy, man.
You right about that.
That was a normal thing. That's crazy that was even normal.
Influential black musicians
your music
and singers are in today's music.
Stolen like that.
But do you have any idea how influential they have been throughout history in all genres of music? And considering it's Black History Month, I thought it was a perfect time to talk about just a few of the times that black music has been taken and whitewashed. Do you remember him, Elvis Presley? More specifically,
look. Hey, you said it popped up, big dog.
Do you remember the song Hound Dog? Ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. But do you remember her? This is Big Mama Thornton, and she's the one who originally released
everybody in Mississippi, you know what I'm saying? Because, Elvis is from down that way. Everybody know about how Elvis stole, you feel me? Especially for people like me. Because, my dad is heavy into blues, and everybody from Mississippi, we know about that. Elvis, he from Tupelo, Mississippi, so We all know that motherfucker was stealing shit, man.
The song. Now,
Stealing shit and taking them little girls.
Elvis' song was released as a cover of her song, but it's disappointing that when you whitewash a song that was already originally amazing, it somehow does even better than the original only 3 years later. Okay, and do you remember him, Phil Collins? More specifically, do you remember the song, You Can't Hurry Love, No, You Just Have to Wait? I hope we all know that that was originally released by the Supremes in 1966, but Phil Collins
Motherfucker take everything, boy.
And once again, the remake by Phil Collins did immensely better than the original, and very little credit was given to the Supremes at the time. And these are the Beach Boys, and I know you guys remember the song Surfin' USA.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody's
come on,
gone
man.
surfing USA. But do you know who this is? This is Chuck Berry, whose song Sweet Little 16 had the same melody that they used in Surfin' USA. But in Surfin' USA, they just wrote new lyrics. Now, the Beach Boys today say it was a homage to Chuck Berry, but upon the initial release, no credit was given to him. And we have Pat Boone, which I know you guys know the song Tutti Frutti. Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy. A wop, a lot, bam, boom. But did you know that song was originally recorded and released by Little Richard?
Bro, what's crazy is I only know the Little Richard version. I didn't even know Buddy had taken his song and got famous from it. That's crazy.
Bop, a lot, bam, boom. But did you know that song was originally recorded and released by Little Richard? And instead of me talking about it, I'm going to read a quote from Little Richard. He said, I felt I was pushed into a rhythm and blues corner to keep out of rockers' way because that's where the money is. When Tutti Frutti came out, they needed a rock star to block me out of white homes because I was a hero to white kids. The white kids would have Pat
I only know Tutti Frutti from Little Richard. I didn't know Buddy had one.
But the families didn't want me because of the image that I was projecting.
History of Bay Area rap, the hyphy movement. A lot of people speak on these times when they weren't actually there. I remember hyphy as being turned up and ready to bust somebody's head, being seriously on one, but it took on a slightly new meaning through the music. The first person who used the term was Keith Sneak back in the 90s, but I feel like the real father of the movement was Mac Dre, because around this time, everybody wanted to be like him. When he passed, E40 did a great job of picking up the torch. He put a spotlight on our culture with Tell Me When to Go, and he took it to a new level. I'm gonna
be honest though, I don't know nothing about this movement. Any of y'all? Anybody know anything about the hyphy movement?
Involved like Mr. Fab, the Federation, the Frontline.
I'm from Mississippi, so
producers like
I don't think that was down here in the South like that, was it?
Million, rest in peace.
That might be a up north thing.
The Bay was really united around this time, and we took it to a mainstream level, even being on MTV. But after a while, it got kind of played out and repetitive. There were a million songs called Go Dumb, and it just kind of faded a bit. But it inspired a new generation of artists like HBK, and it's still a big part of our culture.
So hip-hop made its way to Africa through France, where there was a DJ, Sydney, who always used to play hip-hop on his radio show. And this radio show later evolved into a TV show called Hip Hop, which was the first national TV show about hip-hop, and also the first French TV show to be hosted by a black man. In case you're wondering what France has to do with this, remember, almost half of all African countries are French-speaking. So when these Africans heard that there was an African hosting a French television show, they were so excited. And then the African migrants in France started dubbing these radio and TV shows onto cassettes. And a similar thing was also happening in New York. So the migrants from France and from New York started siphoning their cassettes with these TV and radio shows to Africa. So this means hip-hop entered Africa through Senegal, because Senegal is the sub-Saharan African country that's closest to France and also closest to New York. So hip-hop started spreading slowly in Africa and was met with some resistance, because the most important aspects of hip-hop, which are the lyrics, the flow, and the overall message, are things that could only be understood by the few privileged high school and college level people. But artists knew the impact that hip-hop had, so they started substituting the English lyrics with African languages, as well as making a documentary about hip-hop in South Africa. And this helped spread hip-hop across Africa. And in a weird way, the popularity of Michael Jackson caused an interest in dancing, which also increased the interest in hip-hop, since hip-hop was associated with break dancing. And then there was a popular sitcom being watched across Africa starring a hip-hop star called The Fresh Prince, and this helped normalize and also keep spreading hip-hop across Africa. And then around the mid-90s, hip-hop started being recognized in African music awards, and channels like MTV and Channel O also helped push hip-hop into Africa. And then the popularity of hip-hop started growing even more when it started getting into the youth, and the NGOs recognized this and started creating shows for ragga and hip-hop to draw the youth to messages of HIV and other important information. In an interview, an artist from Senegal said hip-hop was born in Africa, grown in America, and it came all the way back to Africa like a boomerang. And this is what he meant. A long time ago in Africa, writing was not as widespread as it is now, but the Africans understood the importance of education. That's why we've got a lot of riddles, folk tales, and learning games. But you can only go so far with this method of learning. So for other complex ideas, we had griots, which were oral historians, praise singers, genealogists, instrumentalists, storytellers, and they had all these skills packed into one.
He's very knowledgeable about what he's talking about, though.
Responsible for educating the people, and he was also responsible for making the education as fun as possible. So their teaching and performance was hip hop like, and it's not only
what's good with it, my guy,
who did this, but it was also the responsibility of grandpas and grandmas to gather their grandchildren on one winter night after harvesting and perform a hip-hop for them.
Philadelphia. Wow, hip-hop history in the 1980s.
I'm not even gonna lie though. That's deep. Like Granddaddy had to perform, nigga. Like what? That's lit though. That's actually a different way to think about things though. But that shows you, man, how powerful hip hop really is. The United States, really, man, if you look at it, is funded by hip hop. Everything runs on the back of hip hop culture, man. The urban culture, man.
Damn, boy. That's a bar. That's a bar. And I'm gonna go so far and say the good and the bad is funded by hip hop. The good and the bad. Because what do we know about the hip hop labels? They are very invested into private prisons. And what we know is created from hip hop. A lot of motherfuckers that going to jail. So yeah, it's producing a lot of money, but it's also producing a lot of negative energy out in the world. I agree.
The world runs off of that. It's a particular energy that can't be replicated, man. Nowhere else.
Everybody get paid. Everybody get paid from black people. Black people start spending money, the world stop. That's my opinion.
Not that quality. You like when they was trying to figure out, get the pure stuff from overseas, the booger sugar and stuff like that. Y'all know what I'm talking about? They try to get that pure stuff. They had to go overseas. We at the source of that though. Right here.
That's true.
You feel me? And it's always changing. We've heard how music was back in the the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. Music is different from what it was 5 years ago.
That's true.
It's completely different.
That's true.
But it's powerful, man, with these messages. And I think that everybody's voice is important no matter what type of music they make, It's important for somebody to hear, right? But look, let's get back into this, though.
Man of words has made the talk of the sidewalk into an art form all his own.
Me, myself, I don't write them. There's different people that write their raps throughout the city, state, world, whatever. I just make them up out of my head as I go along. It might be the streets, it might be war or something like that. As far as a message rap, this is one like, Automatic, push button, remote control, synthetics, genetics, command your soul. Trucks, tanks, laser beams, guns, blasts, submarines, neutron, B-bomb, A-bomb, gas. All that stuff will kill you fast.
Yeah. Can we get more rappers like that? Nah. Because you making sense. You making sense and you teaching us and you making us aware of what's going on around us. So they don't want rappers like that. That's why they got rid of that. You see it say 1980. Now we got niggas that excited about, man, I see quotes, motherfucker talking about how much lean they drinking a week. Like, nigga, that's something. Nigga, what the fuck we care about that for? Nigga talking about, I spent $4,000 a week on lean. Oh, yeah, I spend this much money on weed. Man, nigga, we don't give a fuck about that. Teach us something. But do we expect them to teach us anything? Because they got rid of the conscious rappers and brought in a nigga that just gonna talk some shit to you.
The building is here. Bricks fall to the ground. You see the homeboys all gather around. See the MC or rapper are sitting on the step, getting much respect because I hold the check. And I'm about to connect with the funky beat to make it get on up and jump out of your seat. It's like this.
That nigga versatile as fuck, ain't it?
Hey, look, I ain't want to rap like that. I ain't gonna lie to you.
That nigga versatile, dog.
MCs, Parry P and Grandmaster Tone.
I bet I wasn't trying to be a rapper back then.
They can improvise their raps like
ghetto came a long way
for up to 50 minutes at a stretch.
I respect it though.
See, that rap right there had meaning. They had meaning back then. They had messages. They had coordination with the people. The rap of today doesn't have any coordination. Only coordination that the rap of today has is negativity. There's nothing positive coming out the mainstream media from rap. Nothing positive.
I take that back. This lit.
I call myself voice master because I use different voices.
They ain't talking about killing us. I ain't heard that one of them niggas say they want to hurt somebody yet. And you got people out there cheering. Ain't not one of them niggas talking about no drive-bys or nothing like that.
Heartbreak, kaboom, shaking, got the power, never stop, with devour in an hour, break it down, and never groove, and make it move, and never lose. I got the beat to make it move your feet at one time, rock and pull around, roll ginger wine. You know I got the beat is on the drop of the dime, a gig a beat. You know that's fast rap.
The poet of all America, Walt Whitman, once wrote that English was not an abstract construction of dictionary makers, but a language that had its basis broad and low, close to the ground. A sharp reminder that the vigor and zest of our language comes from the English of every man, white and black.
She out there blowing that. She out there blowing that wood.
His life should have already been a movie.
Hey, look.
They made the movie, and some of you.
Hey, that's crazy though. Look, that's so dope, man. We were able to go back and actually witness that and see that. Imagine how it would be if we can see back in like the Medic Times type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that'd be crazy if we had footage we can actually see.
I would,
check
though.
this out though.
I would.
Check this out though. You see how innocent that music was? It's always like that. You can sound hard and be kicking it and have a good time. But somewhere along the way, man, the game got manipulated for people to actually start carrying those things out, man.
Bingo.
Making that type of aggressive.
Bingo.
With the drugs and all the guns and stuff like that. But
it
is what it is, though.
But that's the influence.
We are rapidly evolving. And, man, it's crazy, right?
Evolving going on right now. You can't evolve if all you hearing is destruction. There ain't no evolving that's going on right now. The world is so filled with a dark cloud. It's too many dark clouds. They don't bring out any sunshine. What rapper is bringing out sunshine, enjoyment of life, living? These motherfuckers all promote negativity because that's what they get paid for. And if they try to do anything otherwise, they won't be on the fucking label. Bingo. We don't own hip hop. That was the time when we did.
Don't even know who this is yet, but you're about to. Joseph Boulogne, Chevalier de Saint-Georges. So stop calling him Black Mozart, because yeah, he was a master composer, but he was also a master fencer, a master violinist, a master marksman, He was born on the island of Guadeloupe in 1745 on Christmas Day to a beautiful Senegalese woman named Nanon. Now, Nanon was enslaved by a minor nobleman who ends up being Joseph's father. But he did claim him, and when the father moved to France, he took Joseph with him and enrolled him in a fencing school. See, if you lived in France in the 1700s and you had money, you fenced. Everyone fenced. That was it. 2 years later, Joseph's the best in the school. No, this was a problem. See, this isn't one of those stories that's like right after slavery. This is still the 1800s. Like, slavery is still big business. Now you got a black kid who's excelling at a French nobleman sport. He's getting challenged, but he's not getting regular challenges from like Pierre at the school up the block. Nah, he gets challenged by legendary fencing master Alexandre Picard. And he beats him. Yeah. He's a famous fencer. And this is when he starts to really get into music. So by the time he's 21, Joseph Boulogne is one of Europe's finest swordsmen. So when he's dubbed a knight, he becomes Joseph Boulogne, Chevalier de Saint-Georges. So now he has a name, he's famous, he's tall, dark, and handsome. He had haters. Now, in 18th century Europe, that means there's going to be some assassination attempt. But my boy had hands that he used to play the violin really well. He was so good that his teacher dedicated some of his pieces to him.
Crazy, right?
And he's playing first violin in France's biggest orchestra. And he's playing concertos that he composed himself. 2 years later, he's directing the orchestra. One day, he gets a letter inviting him to the royal palace, and it's signed by Marie Antoinette, who starts getting lessons from him. Now, when it became time for the Paris Opera to get a new director, Saint-Georges was the obvious choice. Even the king thought so. You know, he came highly recommended by Marie Antoinette. And I know some of you were trying to judge, but tell me you blame her. I'll wait. But then 3 of the opera's divas write this letter to the king, and so even though he's the most qualified person, they don't hire him. They don't hire anyone, they just leave the position open. Oh. Now later on in life, he's living in someone's mansion, and guess who comes to live there too? A young Mozart.
What if all pop music today was inspired by black culture? Yes, that even means your boy Bieber. This is a short history on black music in America. Okay, so what do we already know? Ooh, I know that enslaved Africans developed their own sense of music with African origins. I want you to take a look at this man. His name is Thomas Dartmouth Rice. Rice heard a disabled black enslaved man playing music and dancing. Who's that white man looking at us? And he thought to himself, you know what's a good idea? What if I painted myself black and danced around on stage? He took the man's movements, dancing and singing, and he characterized it. No. He made a mockery of it, and he exaggerated it to create the character Jim Crow. Ta-da! We love it here. His song, Jim Crow, was an American hit. I mean, #1 on the Billboard charts.
I've seen this before, but I didn't know this was the backstory to it. Wow.
Yes, Cardi B and Megan Ye Old Stallion. While Thomas Dartmouth Rice did not invent blackface, he definitely became a trendsetter for featuring
I've seen this, but never knew the backstory.
Or not, that means that black life from the beginning was a big part of American entertainment. Now, let's bring it to the 1920s. There was a movement going on within the black community called the Harlem Renaissance. It encouraged the expression of black art through books, drawings, and, music. Jazz was a mix of blues and ragtime. The thing about the genre is it broke into mainstream music. Black people listen to it. White people listen to it. Your Uncle Sam listened to it. Uncle Sam. And what jazz and its popularity proved was that African American art did not need to be stereotyped and appropriated to prosper. Hey, you know what else is mainstream? What? Hip hop! That's Black History. Okay, let's jump to the 1980s. Hip-hop and rap started gaining immense popularity. It satisfied black audiences' presence of cultural voice and excited white suburbanites' vicarious thrills. It means that white teens like listening to black music because their parents weren't too keen on it and let them live a dangerous life through a song.
That's facts.
Did you hear what that Negro said?
And that's why you see a bunch of kids on Twitch rapping the songs that they rapping, portraying a life that they never lived. Simple as that.
Coming straight from the underground, a young Nick. And as Childish Gambino uses his music to bring to light current issues by referencing the past, he reminds us that while history is in the past, its shockwaves still affect us today. Our music industry has been greatly impacted by African Americans. There are so many artists, impacts, and movements that I can get into, but I encourage you to go out and do your own research on this. Just remember how much of an impact African Americans have made, not only on this nation's music industry, but the world.
No matter what type of genre of music you're talking about, the creator goes back to a black person. I always say you could tell who's open-minded by the music they listen to. Me personally, I could listen to rap, I could listen to country, I could listen to rock, I could listen to any genre of music. That's me.
Me too.
And I will listen to jazz, I will listen to rock, I will listen to country music and all of that. And people will be like, yo, that's white music. Why you listen to white music, this and that? They talk about Elvis is the king of rock and all of that. Bro, y'all don't understand these genre of music was all created by a black person.
The only genre I hate with a passion is that scream rock. That shit just irks me hearing it. But it used to keep me awake when I used to travel from state to state, you know. I used to be driving long hours, man, and when I get to that point where I feel like I want to fall asleep and I'm still trying to drive, put on that extreme rock. I hate it so much that it would keep me awake.
First of all, if you want to get even deeper, music goes all the way back into ancient times. There was
you love that screaming shit? Africa. Damn!
Music started in Africa.
Real shit, don't try. You fuck with it?
If you look at a lot of the
Egyptian
hieroglyphics, you can see they were.
I can rock with the country. I can't rock with that scream
music
shit.
Music is nothing new to us.
Nah, I used to paint water towers and I used to go from state to state.
When you're talking about jazz,
instead of flying, I used to fly and drive, just depending on how I felt.
Black people started this, bro. Hip hop, of course, we started this, and the reason why a lot of the time we start hip hop is because every time we had our own type of music,
I did a lot, man.
Tried to steal it.
I did a lot,
dog. So he was like, "Yo, we're gonna do something that they can't copy." Hip hop comes into play. Now, don't get me wrong. There's good white rappers. I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Oh, there's no white people that can rap." I'm not gonna sit here and say that. But majority of the people who can rap is who? Who are you thinking about when it comes to hip hop? Let's be real. And it gets even deeper. It's in Asian Africa, but as time goes on, remember, we use music to escape from the slave master. Our ancestors was using music to escape from the slave masters. So you know you had country music because slavery was big in the South. So you know for a fact we was making a lot of country music.
Yeah, that's true.
They always take our ideas and then they put their face over it and then they patent it and then they make it seem like they're the creators of it. Oh, Elvis is the king of rock, this and that. Bro, there was people before Elvis. Harriet Tubman, Wade in the Water, she was making escape routes within her music. Like, we created all of this shit, man. But like Kaba Kameen says, this is people that don't know their history. Oh, that's white music. No, it's not. The farther you go back into history, you'll see that a black person created this. The truth isn't hate. People don't want to accept the fact that we was the blueprint of everything and everyone just took off of us. It still happens today. Everyone just takes off of us.
He ain't lied, dog. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. He haven't lied.
Nothing changes. This is why black people need to learn their history. This is why. Because trust me, there's millions of things we created and you know who came and put his face over it, patented the idea, and took it for themselves. Millions of things. Now I'm gonna let y'all go because I'm running out of time.
Black music history is so damn wild. Let's take a look at 3 facts. So here we got Wallace Amos, and he was one of the first, if not the first, black talent agent in the world. So he worked with folk like Diana Ross, Marvin Gaye, the Supremes, many more. He attracted those clients by sending them cookies, and they messed with them cookies so much. 1975, he opened up his own business, Amos Cookie Company, and that's where we get Famous Amos. Next up, we got Curtis Mayfield. So we all know the song Diamond in the Back, Sun Rooftop, So that
hey,
song,
I like that.
Curtis Mayfield, I was today years old when I found that out. Curtis Mayfield never recorded the song. That song was miscredited to him, and it was actually William Divine. Be thankful for what you got. So also with Curtis Mayfield, it's 1990. He's doing an outside concert, and the wind's out there as strong as a mug. Wind so strong, it blows off and disconnects the stage light, hit him in the neck, and he becomes paralyzed. He records his last album, New World Order, lying on his back. So lastly, we got Teddy P. Wow. Teddy P was a fool, boy. He used to do women only concerts. The first one at Madison Square Garden. And so they said at the concerts, they would pass out chocolate teddy bear shaped lollipops. They would call them Teddy Pops. They say by the end of that concert, boy, pennies would be filled on that stage. But just like Curtis Mayfield, Teddy P was also involved in an accident that left him paralyzed in 1982. And it involves another person. So his car, his Rolls Royce, spins out of control on the wayway. And so a lot of people, there's a lot of speculation behind this story. Some people say it was a man in the car. Some say it was Dr. J wife. But the undisputed fact is Teddy P, he would never walk again from this crash.
Well, this wasn't on my reparations bingo card. Benedict Cumberbatch, or otherwise known as the man who has played Doctor Strange for Marvel Studios movies for like the last decade. Oh, his family apparently owned a sugar plantation in Barbados, and they could face legal pressure to pay reparations. This is the part that gets me. His mom wanted him not to use his last name in case it made him a target for reparations. What? When the plantation was forced to close, his family was actually given reparations. Reparations that would total $3.6 million in today's money.
Well, damn.
That's wild, man. Look, that went left real quick, didn't it?
Hey, man, I hope y'all enjoyed the video, man. Shout out to Dre OG Reacts, man. Listen, I had an amazing time with y'all tonight, man. I gotta go get on daddy duties. It's 1:16. My lady, she called. She's saying she ready to go to sleep. Can I come and help her with the baby? So I gotta go get on daddy duties. I'll be back with some more of these. I got some more amazing stories that we didn't get to. We've been going away for 3 hours. I got some more stuff for y'all tomorrow, man. Thank y'all for the support. I'll see y'all on the next one, man. Y'all have an amazing rest of y'all night, man.
Bello on the bello.